Good morning, soldiers. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Scar H in Battlefield 3, seeing how it holds up to its real-life counterpart, and how it fares in-game. I tell you what, man, I think it's going to be the week of the Scar platform, because this platform is in so many different games and represented differently in so many different games. It's just a really interesting weapon to sit there and take a look at and see how each developer has their own take on it. Now, last week I did a video on the Scar H in Black Ops 2, and we saw a significant difference between the Scar H in Black Ops 2 and the Scar H in Battlefield 3. And one of the things that I brought up was that I thought that Battlefield 3 had it backward, where the Scar L performed much better at a distance than the Scar H. And that shouldn't be the case, considering that the Scar L is like the little brother. It fires the 5.56 NATO round, and the Scar H fires the 7.62 NATO round, which is known to be more accurate and pack more of a punch. Or at least, I shouldn't say it's more accurate. A lot of people may argue that. You know, the 5.56 round is a very accurate round, but I feel like the 7.62 round has more of an effective range and you can do more with it, in my opinion. But everyone can agree that the 7.62 round packs more of a punch. So, when I was in Battlefield 3 messing around with Scar H early in the day when it first came out, I noticed that it wasn't that effective at a range. And I'm like, you know, hey, what's going on here? Now, unfortunately, I dropped it after that, and I didn't really investigate it. I didn't do my research on what variant of this weapon it actually was. And since coming back to it, after getting more interested in the Scar platform, I noticed this isn't your average Scar H. This is actually a Scar H CQC, which stands for Close Quarters Combat. The difference is a much shorter barrel. Now, that might not seem like a big deal to some people, just reducing the size of the barrel. It's only 3 inches. Your standard Scar H is 16-inch barrel. This is a 13-inch barrel. That might not seem like a big deal, but it does a lot of things to a weapon. One, it classifies it as a carbine, or carbine, depending on how you want to pronounce it, but it's also classified as a battle rifle because it fires that 7.62 round, so it puts it in the same category as the FAL. Which is pretty outstanding. So you have something that is supposed to have the range of a battle rifle, but also has the close quarters capability of a carbine. Now, when you reduce the barrel size, like I said, it does quite a bit. It does make it more effective in close quarters because you are more maneuverable, but without that extra 3 inches of barrel length, you are looking at significantly more recoil when you fire it. Now, some people may wonder why all this information is important. They're playing a video game. They can just figure it out in game. And the reason I think this is important is because these developers pull influences for real life when it comes to the mechanics of these weapons. So just knowing that this is the close quarters variant of the Scar H tells me a lot about what they had in mind when it came to the purpose of this weapon. Now, I'm not saying the developers always get it right. You know, sometimes they, make it so that you can snipe with an MP7 in some games. Which definitely should not happen. But I do know that their goal is to balance the game and use the weapons appropriately using real-life influences, which is what makes this game and other modern shooters a lot of fun for a lot of people, especially firearm enthusiasts like myself, and I'm sure you are one as well if you're subscribed to my channel. Now, when I kept all this information in mind, I think it helped me get in the mindset that I needed to be when I was in game. So here you have a weapon that packs an absolute punch firing the 7.62 NATO round. And again, this is something that I would really like to get my hands on to see how you would use a close quarters battle rifle to the purpose that this was meant to be, considering that it has the reduced barrel length. But still, it got me in the right mindset. So I put a laser on it, put a foregrip on it, and just treated it like it was a close quarters weapon. And when I had the opportunity to reach out to those people who were further away, I went ahead and took a couple shots because I realized that this thing is going to pack a punch no matter what. And I do think that Battlefield 3 represented this weapon very, very well. And that's something that someone said on Twitter. I said, what would you guys think of me doing some comparisons between the representation of some of these weapons in Battlefield 3 and also in Black Ops 2? And someone brought up the point, there is no comparison. Pretty much every iteration of weapons in Battlefield 3 is much better than the representation in Black Ops 2. And I agree. I think no game better represents each particular weapon than Battlefield 3 up until this point. But I still think it's interesting to see how each developer approaches each weapon within their own game mechanics. So the Black Ops 2 game mechanics, they simply can't realistically portray these weapons as they do in Battlefield 3, because the game mechanics, it would just throw everything off. It just wouldn't make sense. But back to the mechanics in Battlefield 3, The Scar H does 30 damage up close and tapers off to 20 damage at a distance. And that is the maximum damage in the Engineer class out of any of the Engineer weapons in both cases. It does the most damage up close and the most damage at a distance. And I think that's appropriate because this is the only weapon that's firing the 7.62 NATO round. The other ones are firing 5.56 or something similar. Now it also fires at 600 rounds per minute, which is interesting because both Battlefield 3 and Black Ops 2 both reduce the fire rate of this weapon to 600 rounds per minute. It actually fires around 620 rounds per minute, so it is probably for balancing reason. I mean, usually it's somewhere, any weapon, usually they go in increments of 50 in both cases, so that's probably what happened there. They just rounded it down to 600 for balancing reasons. And you do feel that in close quarters. A lot of times you will be beat out by other weapons that fire significantly faster. Although you do pack one hell of a punch, you also have to consider that you are firing one of the slowest weapons in the game. You also have one of the lowest magazine counts, which is accurate. In fact, I mean, the magazine in the Scar H only holds 20 rounds. And again, that was something that was inaccurate in Black Ops 2. They made it hold 30. And when you put an extended mag on it, the detail of the magazine didn't change at all, and it magically held 10 more rounds that it couldn't hold to begin with. But it's portrayed accurately in this game, for better or worse. So you only have 20 rounds in this magazine. And that's one of the lowest magazines in the Engineer class. So are all these trade-offs worth it? You know, I think if you are an accurate player and you can put yourself in the correct position, the Scar H is a tremendous weapon in Battlefield 3. But it is, if you ask me, a very situational weapon, whereas other weapons are very much jack of all trades and can fulfill the role of this weapon maybe not just as easily, but just as effectively. But let me know what you think of the Scar H in the comment section. Is this one of your favorite weapons in Battlefield 3? I know a lot of people are just humongous fans of the Scar platform, and it doesn't really matter how a particular weapon in the Scar platform is represented in the game. They're going to love it. So I want to know what you guys think of it. You know, do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think they need to buff it? Take it away? Let me know your thoughts on the Scar H. But that's all I have for this video. This is Sergeant Merrill, out here.